on since 1970. I started as a prosecutor in the United States Justice Department. I was a legislator in New York and a legislator in Connecticut. When you look at the gun issues of this state and this country, and you look at abortion, and you look at same-gender issues, and you look at some of the big issues of alcohol and tobacco, these are issues that have really torn us apart. And this gun control issue is really doing that. As Pat and Ronnie have well said, we're trying to find a coming together here. Just to elaborate on what Pat said, what the legislative plan is to set up tomorrow 3 small task forces. One dealing with gun control, one dealing with school safety, and one dealing with mental health issues. And then by the end of February to vote, fast-tracking this for us, by the end of February to be voting on a composite bill of all those 3 components. Now I will tell you that we've got real problems with the school safety concept and the mental health, and let me quickly explain why. School safety, I think we pretty well rejected the NRA proposal of armed cops at every entrance of school. The chief of police in my town, Guilford, recently did a calculation that it would cost the town of Guilford about $1 million a year to do that. So the question of school safety is going to instead be looking at bulletproof glass, more surveillance by the police, perhaps as one constituent of ours has suggested, having brigades of volunteers who will have a presence in each school. That is the sort of school safety thing that we're talking about. Maybe a panic button at each school that goes directly into the police station, that kind of thing. Mental health is even more difficult, more complex, because as so many people here would probably like, why don't we have a psychiatric examination of everyone who wants to get a gun permit? Unconstitutional lawyers tell us you can't do that. You can't compel a psychiatric examination of some person, even if that person is nutty. You're just not going to be able to do it. What about lots of more mental health services? Highly expensive. The state of Connecticut is running flat right now. We're barely even, okay? You and the towns are hurting. You don't want to raise your property tax by a lot of mental health services. So we're looking at some small incremental things in mental health. We're looking at trying to train our school psychologists to be more sensitive about young people and what's going on. Maybe making a referral to a doctor or school-based health clinic or to parents with respect to problems that the school psychologists see. And then finally, we look at the question of guns. And this is so emotional. I have a son in the Midwest. He said, "Dad, you in the Northeast don't understand the mentality of people who want to defend themselves. This is self-defense is a very deep component, a very deep part of our human makeup, is self-defense. And when legislators start trying to take away your weapons and your self-defense, great worry, great emotion occurs. The emotion in my office, and my aide is here, Erica Manuelson, because of the kind of emails we're getting, is an indication of this is an issue of our time, like nothing else. So I have handed out to some of you at least a couple of bills that are before the legislature, been in the Judiciary Committee. One is probably the more popular bill, and that is Senator Bayh and Representative Godfrey's bill. Similar bill has been introduced by Senator LeBeau, and that has a limit on gun magazines of 10. It also defines assault weapons in a way to stop the manufacturers from beating the definition. You know, the AR-15 a Buckmaster that was used in Newtown is something that got around the law because they took off the adjustable stock. They took off the bayonet lug. They took off the flash suppressor, and all of a sudden it was not the same weapon as defined as an assault weapon, and so it was illegal by revised bill meets those things. I went to state police, I went to local police, we spent a lot of time on this in the last month, and I came away with a different thought, and that's reflected in my bill. What I saw was how quickly the police were able to change magazines. They could take it, we were at the gun range in Simsbury, the state police. They could take a magazine of 30 bullets, 30 rounds, as we call it, and they could fire those 30 rounds very quickly, either with an automatic or a semi-automatic. Automatic, if you pull the trigger, the bullets keep going. Semi-automatic, each time you pull the trigger, a bullet goes out. They could shoot those 30 bullets, and in 1 second, put in a new magazine. The police showed us magazines that were taped together, where there would be a 20 or 30 round magazine, under which was taped another 20 or 30 round magazine. And what a person would do is they'd finish the top magazine, take it out, flip it over, and put in the next one in 1.5 seconds. 1.5 seconds. And that is the one reason why in this country, in this state, we have gun violence. And so you'll see in my bill, I've offered an alternative, and that is the prohibition of gun magazines and gun clips in Connecticut, and the use of guns that will fire essentially one round. The big exception I made is for gun clubs and gun ranges, because I'm aware from talking to a lot of people, maybe some of you, that you like your gun clubs and gun ranges. So my bill has an exemption of gun clubs and gun ranges in which the magazines and the clips would be registered with the state police and would be maintained under secure conditions at the gun club or the gun range for the use of the members, okay? And therefore they could take a multiple round magazine and they could play the great contest that you love with a moving target, and they're firing away at it with a multiple round magazine. That's a sport that they enjoy. We're not going to take away that. We're going to do it under more secure conditions. So
how about shooting trap with my shotgun with 2 barrels?
Yeah.
Down to 1 barrel now?
Yeah. We'll chat about that.
Yeah, we will.
I shoot trap too.
Good.
I shoot clay pigeons. So I'm with you on that. So anyway, those are some of the ideas that we have. You've read about some other ideas that I won't bother you with. We'll have a Q&A session, but get engaged, talk to Pat and I and me. We're going to try to do the right thing for Connecticut.
A question?
After.
I'd like to